Welcome back, Gail.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, this month's podcast series is really focused on a series of topics that I feel like you and I have been able to really resonate over. But you got me so excited about your 90-day planner because I am about to I just got the text message of a planner called Full Focus.
Oh yeah.
You've heard of that?
Yeah.
I'm going to download your 90-day planner, but also use it in, I would say, conjunction with the other one.
hmm
I got information about that one because I'm currently in a course creation boot camp, so to
hmm
speak. So I'm creating my own first series of courses called Streamlining for Success for Solopreneurs. And
Nice.
so now I feel like the timing is so impeccable that you mentioned your 90-day planner. Can you share more about that?
Sure. I used to plan out for the full year and then break it up by month and by day, week and day like that. But by midway of the year, definitely three-fourths into the year, I would just lose all steam. Sometimes even after the first quarter, would just feel like I was completely off track. And I just thought that there was something wrong with me versus thinking there's something wrong with the system, which I think is important for people who are looking into streamlining their systems, is that if you haven't found the right system, or if the system's not working for you, it's not you, it's the system. So learn from people, but then make it your own and experiment and see what works for you. So what works for me is based on this idea on a book called The 90-Day Year. And the idea behind his book was, what if you can make a year's worth of income in 90 days? What would you do in that 90 days? Now, that's not what I propose. That to me was too much. Maybe if someone was in hustle mode, in the hustle phase of their life, but I'm almost 50 and I've got a 5-year-old, almost 6-year-old neurodivergent daughter. I am not hustling. I'm hustling to take care of her, but not in my business. I want it to maintain and grow smoothly. So for me, when I think of my 90-day quarter, I think of it as, what's one goal I want to focus on? Break it up into maybe 2 or 3 sub goals that support that main goal and just focus on that. So if I'm just focusing on one thing that I want to accomplish, whether it's enrolling 3 more private clients, or be able to launch a new course, for example, I know I have a deadline, because I think for a lot of entrepreneurs, when you're the boss, you can make up your own deadlines. And if you miss your deadline, you could like, okay, I'll just push on my deadline. I do that all the time. But if I say, okay, by December 31st or by the end of March, that's it. There's more urgency, but it's not so quick that you don't see a significant result at the end. It's long enough that you've created some new habits to keep that system going. So with the planner, it's a PDF. I could even have it provided as a Canva file so someone can customize it to the way they want. But there's a lot of apps out there where you could delete a page in a PDF if that's not working for you. But it's basically just takes your big vision of what's my life purpose? What am I doing in this world? What kind of impact do I want to make in my community? Break it down into, okay, what's one thing I'm going to focus for the next 90 days? Break it down into little steps, and then break it down to day by day. Here's what I'm doing. And I think we tend to put too much on our plate. So if we delete some of the stuff that's not necessary for that one goal, it just makes life so much easier.
Yeah, I tend to do these things. I have it somewhere. I don't have it near my camera, unfortunately, but I call it the white book. Have you seen those things?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so you have this pen and it's got an eraser. You could wipe off. It's like a mini Sharpie, and
Oh,
I've
uh-huh.
got, and it's got a book that with several pages. And the reason I'm bringing this up is that I tend to write on it systematically. Okay, these are the things I need to get done. These
hmm
are that are related to Monday's goals and then the meta goal, whatever it
Hmm.
may be. Well, I somehow in my head, I think I can do those 10 things. They're so simple. I obviously all it takes is da 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 da. Well, when you're in the middle of it or in the beginning, what's interesting is life. Like the cat
Yeah.
will come and start walking on my computer, or the internet's slow, so I go get up and get a coffee because I just have to wait for something to process, and when I come back, there's a call or an email that I need to. I swear, I think I put way more, and then at the end of the day, I'm like, I only got two things done.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. I actually write what I'm doing while I'm doing it. I call it my doing done list. So I have a piece of paper. Actually, I use a writable notebook now, a digital notebook. But I write down, okay, right now I'm focusing on this because my brain will go to every other idea that shows up on my screen. Like what you do, I do a little bit of social media management. And you open up Facebook and oh, I got a message here, and oh, I got this, and I can't help but look, and it takes me off track. But when I look back down to my doing done list, I'm like, oh, I'm doing this right now. Let's go back to this. So it may take me 30 minutes to do something that it might take someone 10 minutes, but you know what? That's me. It's going to just be that way.
It's so true. The distractions are real because I'm like a child. Like if I see my own child doing that, I'm very mom, like stay focused. But then I'll be like, oh, that's a cute dress that they're showing. I like that color. And next thing I know, I've gone down the rabbit hole.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. If I'm trying to get my daughter to a certain place and we're running late, I mean, it's like I'm telling her what my own brain is trying to tell me is like, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Oh gosh, yeah. And then evening hits, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, I did I get it done? Oh, but here's something else that really ties back to uh, that concept you just mentioned about doing done list and having
Hmm.
in front of you to keep you focused.
Hmm.
Um, I've been doing this, and it's on my phone, the Notes app.
Yeah.
And so every day I open it, and the habit broke about 5 days ago, and I feel the effects of it. So I'm going to have to go back and do it because I've been doing it for 3 years now. Where
Oh.
on the Notes app, I
Hmm.
have my daily set of things that I need to think about or do.
Hmm.
And I force myself to do it. I spend that 15 minutes in the morning after
Hmm.
my meditation. And like I said, the habit broke a few days ago, so I have to go back and do it. But basically includes things like what were the wins yesterday,
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
you know, and what do they call it? The gains and the gaps. Well,
Hmm.
what were the wins? And what will I want to accomplish or set the intention for in the day to come?
Right.
And even if it's not like this, clouds parting awesome thing,
Hmm.
just the fact that I can say, okay, I did this on a professional level yesterday, and I did this on a professional and then personal, and I include personal. And sometimes I think, well, what did I really do? I mean, I had coffee in the morning, I made dinner for the family, but it was just another day. But then the other day, I'm like, I've been starting including even the silly things. So I was like, well, I played a video game with my son.
You spend time with your son on
Yeah,
something that he's interested in.
yeah,
So yeah, I'd say that's definitely a win.
yeah.
That's
So
wonderful.
that's that's one of the many little things that it's in that
Yeah.
daily notepad. We can go into details and maybe in the future, you and I, but I think
I love
having
that.
those things in front of us, um, and it helps because, like, even a check mark.
Hmm.
Someone was telling me that the way the
Yes.
brain works is that the check mark is like the dopamine hit.
It is. It does give you a dopamine hit. So for those of us who are dopamine deprived, for I have ADHD, so does my husband, my daughter might as well. That little check mark. So I will even write things that I forgot to write down. I will still write it again and check it off just to check it off because it feels good. And I like what you said, is you're acknowledging, yeah, I did do something. And there may be other little things that kind of squeeze through there, but it's also something of just being a person too, being human.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I would say that today was kind of a rough day because I'm trying to get to a new big task that's about to start. And I'm in that stage where I don't know if this happens to you, but right after something major gets done, my office looks like a mess. And even though by nature I'm a very organized, structured, clean or person, but
Mhm,
right now I've got a stack of 7 books that I was going through to come up with inspiration for something I'm writing. I've
mhm.
got post-it notes all over. I've got sheets of paper, and our new cats, Luke and Leia, named after Star Wars,
Oh,
they
cute.
come, they come into my office and they'll have like a post-it note on their paw as
No.
they're walking around because this is like the where all the post-it notes live.
Oh, that's so funny. You get a video of that. I think
Yeah,
that
I
would
know.
make a great reel.
And
Yeah.
that would be a really funny reel. And the irony was that the post-it note that the cat picked up of last week. I also have a mindset set like on the wall where all the mindset post-it notes
Mhm.
reside, and it said something to the effect of "Stay calmly active and actively calm" or something. And I was not calm at the moment. I'm like, oh, thank you.
Well, that's a sign from the universe.
And so, yeah, oh my gosh, there were just nuggets of so much wisdom here that you shared. These are agnostic to our work,
Mhm.
but they do help with our work. But like you said, even if you've done something, I do the same thing. I go back, write it down, and do a check. And there's this checklist on our kitchen counter. And my husband doesn't like anything out. And I'm the one of those people, if it's not in my sight, I will
Yeah,
forget about it.
same.
So I
Mhm.
need to have certain things in my sight. And it's a checklist. And one is chores. And sometimes I will go back and put the thing in there and put a check just so I feel good about myself.
Well, you did do it, so I think you should feel good.
Otherwise, I'm like, what did I really get done all day?
Well, I think that's great. I think you're acknowledging what you did. I think a lot of us entrepreneurs, especially women entrepreneurs, are not giving ourselves that acknowledgement that we are doing that.
Absolutely. Well, Gail, thank you so much for this conversation. And our next conversation, we will be talking about AI and how it can help us.
Yeah,
Okay,
great. Thank you.
thank you.